Good afternoon, Gator families. I hope you're having a great weekend. Thank you for joining me today as I talk to you a little bit about what's going to be going on in our next week of language arts. But before I get into all that, here again are those important links that I show you every week. First, a link to Canvas, second, a link to Parent Square, third, to Sora, and fourth, to me reading the novel. We will get the last couple chapters up for this week, probably later this evening, later on Sunday evening, if they're not up by the time you see this video. This past week, we spent a lot of time talking about theme and summary, how to write a good summary, and how to figure out how a theme is being developed over the course of a series of chapters. We ended the week by taking the first part of our end of unit assessment, which focused on students doing a analysis of a chapter we hadn't read yet. It was chapter 9. So we read chapters 7, 8, and 9 last week. From what I've seen so far, students seem to be doing pretty well with that assessment, but most classes will be finishing up on Monday of this upcoming week. So that is what most people will be doing then. Then, of course, we will have lessons 13 and 14 happening on Tuesday and Wednesday. Those are going to be focusing on gathering evidence about theme, focusing on Naya and Salva and how they are developing as people and what themes the author might be trying to build, develop, create over the course of the novel by talking to us about Naya and Salva's growth. Our end of unit assessment part 2, the second half of the test we started this past week, will be taking place on Thursday and Friday. That assessment is going to be a little bit different than what you might be used to seeing. It's not going to be a formal test with multiple choice and short answer questions. It's going to take the form of a type of discussion called a Socratic seminar. A Socratic seminar is based on the idea that there is a small group of students who are having a discussion, giving text evidence and replying to other people as they try and reach some type of consensus on a given question. The rest of the class is taking notes on that conversation and analyzing how well people are talking and the evidence they're using, that type of thing. Then after that's over, they finish everyone's written reflection and then the two groups switch. If you look right below me over there, you can see the question that students will be working to answer on Thursday and Friday. Some teachers are going to be running that in different formats based on what different groups need. That test obviously looks very different for students with special needs versus our honors classes. So some of those tests will be given in writing so that people can have a discussion board format to go back and forth. Others will be doing it via Zoom. Others might be doing it through a web app called Parlay that you might be familiar with from last year. There is some talk about doing it with lots of different formats. The end goals of that assessment are the same, and the questions students will be asking and answering will be the same, and our expectations for participation and response will be the same across all of those different methods of giving this test out. It's just that some classes will be using a slightly different format based on that individual class's strengths and weaknesses. If you have questions about that and what the assessment will look like for your individual student, you should reach out directly to your student's teacher because they will have the best understanding of that. That is all I've got for you this week, since we have so much testing going on in the middle of September here. My updates are kind of short, but hopefully you don't mind that too much. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your student's teacher. If you have suggestions about how I can make these videos more useful for you and your family, please let me know. I would love to hear from you about that. That's all I've got for you. Like I said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and until next time, be well and do good.